Once you receive your hyperlink to the portal, you'll need to open up a browser and paste in your address that you have been given, and that will take you to Office 365. If you've logged in previously, it will remember who you are, and to log in all you need is your email address or your user ID at sydneywater.com.au, and you don't need a password. It then asks for a work or school account. In this case we want a work account, and because I'm logging in externally, you won't need to do this unless you're doing what I'm doing, but the external domain is ads.sydneywater or swc and / your username, and the password is your network password, just like logging in. The portal will then start up, and I'll just explain the features. First of all, we've got a heading, and that's a refresh button, so if at any time you want to reset the page, just click on the title. We've got groups of tiles here, and to the bottom we have got some buttons, and I'll just go through the buttons. First one, probably the most important, is the navigation help button, and that is what I'm about to explain, how we navigate and move about. And I've also made the video available through this button. And if you want to know a bit more about how to run a BI report or be a BI report consumer, that's the button for you. If you're a bit more advanced and want to know how to write BI reports or a bit more about BI report writing, you can click here. If you need further access in BI to different universes, and we'll cover this in a minute, click this button. You can find a bit of information on Swim here if you're not used to Swim. And finally, this last button takes you back to your team plan for MOS. So navigation is achieved by pushing down the left mouse button and just moving the mouse left and right, up and down. And zooming is achieved using the mouse wheel. And as I zoom out, you could probably see that there's roughly 3 groups of tiles. That's the daily group, that's the weekly group, and here's the monthly group. And these all correspond to the MOS agendas, and I'll just go through explaining how they set up. Within a group, you've got, for example, daily, they all have safety, process, maintenance, and extras. So we'll just take a closer look at daily, and we see that there's one group of tiles to the left, and these all correspond to MOS agenda items, and to the right we have some other tiles that don't necessarily relate directly to a MOS item, but you might find them particularly useful, and they correspond on the same row as the title. So these ones sitting over the side here are safety, and these ones over here are process. So if we take a bit of a closer look at a tile, I'll just go through the parts. So it's got a heading, which is the hyperlink to, in this case, a BI report, and then we've got some blue text explaining what the report does and why you might run it, and there's an author name. So if you want to contact the person who wrote it and find out more about it or make changes, there's a name to contact. And finally, down the bottom right, we have the universe from where it comes. And in this case, not all reports are coming out of BI. There's also iConnect, Swim, and web pages that launch. And you've been granted BI consumer level access for SCADA, Maximo, and monitoring universes. So that should get you through just about all these reports. But if you want to further increase your access, well, that's the button for you. So having achieved an open portal, what you might want to do is save it, so you don't have to remember it or go through this again. So just drag it onto the favorites bar, and it will be retained for your next time you visit. And because you're doing it through centralized Internet Explorer, it will appear on any other machine you log into. So all you need to do would be to hit the restart or the title, and it would pop up. And sometimes you might click on a report and it doesn't work. It could be because you don't have BI access. It will typically come up with a 404 error. It can't find it. And that's probably because you don't have access to that particular BI universe. And again, that's why we've got that button for Get BI Access.